What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Roundtable. We have this show every Thursday. We have a couple people that are out today. Amy is celebrating the holiday still with family, and Charlie is on a cruise ship somewhere. We don't know where, but he's out there floating somewhere. And Kat has become a cowgirl.
Yes. Cowboy cat. I like it. Yeah, I did something terrible to my hair a couple weeks ago. I got bangs and they're really short and I hate them. So I'm doing everything I can to camouflage them. My hair grows really fast. So that's good news.
Do I remember this happening previously?
Probably. I mean, why didn't you stop me this time?
Didn't know till after the fact.
Isn't it funny how women do these things to their hair? Like, I feel like it's a transitional thing. Like, okay, you're making some changes in your life. Now it's time to like do something drastic. So yeah, here I am growing out my bangs.
Yeah. The blonde, the redhead, the bangs.
All the things.
Evening up instead of layers and then going back to layers. And
I think got lots of layers.
I try to
pay layers and yeah, you do. You do a good job. We're back to layers, and this is like the color. I always say this is the color God gave me, so it like matches.
Yeah, mine is getting whiter and whiter and whiter.
And if I didn't have so much of it, I would let it go. Yeah, let it go. If I had short hair and it was starting to go gray, I would do that. The problem with mine is that I would look like the Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah, Corey, that's redhead cat is coming next for sure. My daughter keeps saying, like, when are we going to do the chocolate, strawberry, raspberry color? So it's coming.
There you go. If you hang out with Cat long enough,
it'll be you'll get it.
Version. You'll get a version. The version you want will happen at some point.
At some point. So true.
You just got to keep waiting.
Well, Scott, you were almost by yourself today because I had plans to have Christmas morning with my kids. Braden and Eliana and my mom were coming over at 10, and then I was having lunch with my dad and the kids before I drive him to the airport tonight to go to England to propose to his 49-year-old girlfriend. And Eliana got the flu. Wah, wah, wah.
And now it's all off.
I took her to the walk-in on Christmas Eve. And I'll preface this by saying she's a hypochondriac for sure. Like there's always something wrong with her. Like she thinks she's dying. She's Google doctoring everything. Every little, indigestion twang that she has, she thinks she's got an ulcer or cancer or the worst thing possible. So she also has something called medical anxiety. Like she doesn't like to take medicine. She gets anxious, when she takes medicine because she'll look at the side effects and, assume she's going to get all of them and everything else. So it's really hard. She actually tried to get medicine for her anxiety and it just made her more anxious because she has medical anxiety. Like it's crazy. So anyway, she calls me and she's like, I'm really sick, and sometimes I kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, oh, is she really sick? Or is she just like, imagining things? So dropped my plans for the day. Was supposed to work, didn't work, drove her there. Sure enough, the kid's got like 102 fever. She's got like partially collapsed lung from her chest x-ray. Like she's a mess. So anyway, she's got that. D will have you thinking you have lupus-induced AIDS within 5 minutes of being on there. I know, it's crazy. But here's the kicker. She still wanted to see everyone for Christmas. So this is what happened. My mom, who did not get her flu shot and is, in her 70s, came over last night around 5. My son Braden came over around 6. They exchanged gifts. Eliana showed up around 6:30. My mom, like from the other side of the apartment, watched Eliana open up her gifts from my mom. Then she left. Braden and Eliana stuck around for a little while. Braden drove back to Virginia because he needs to go see his girlfriend who lives in Georgia. And Eliana stayed until midnight. And she and I sat on the couch this close to each other all night with her coughing and hacking and everything else. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the flu.
Awesome.
So but I wasn't going to like send her away. Like she's my kid. I don't care if I get sick. I'm fine.
What's funny, you said I might have been alone. I'm getting used to that now. I'm trying to like get used to being on here alone It's something that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not comfortable with, and I've been doing the lunch shows. And that's why Jody is saying, is this the lunch hour show or the media roundtable? Every Thursday is the roundtable. But
Yes.
the lunch shows are welcome to any of the crew to come on whenever they feel like it, as long as we have a show. I think
Right.
Kat was
And
gonna come on Monday,
I was, and there wasn't a show, or
and there
Tuesday, I think
wasn't
it
a show
was.
because that's when
Yeah,
I
Monday.
had a lunch date with my daughter. Um,
It'll happen.
but it's funny, you got to spend time with Eliana and the family. We had the breakup, and then we got a longer time with Corey than we thought we were going to get, which was really nice. The bad part was she had to go to work today back in Pittsburgh. And so yesterday was Christmas. She had to drive back yesterday. And like Christmas, which was supposed to be like the climax of the week when spending time together, really was a sad moment because she didn't really want to go back to the apartment she shares with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. She
Yeah.
didn't. And yesterday we were loading up her car with the new mattress we bought, with all the stuff from Christmas, and she just didn't want to leave. And Mom didn't want her to leave. I didn't want her to leave, and it's officially a show now.
Yeah, sorry.
And so yesterday was kind of melancholy on
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Day because she left at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it was
Mm-hmm.
just Julie and I for the rest of the day, watching football and then watching movies and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But it was nice because we were only supposed to get her from like Saturday to Monday morning, and we got her from
Okay.
Saturday till Wednesday afternoon.
A couple more days out of it. Yeah, that's nice. I would have liked to have spent more time with Braden, but he was supposed to leave tonight. And then of course, once he heard his sister was sick and that we might not be doing today because she was sick, he was like scheming the whole day yesterday, like, what time can I come over? How early can we do, our thing? Because he just wanted to get his gifts from his grandmother and then leave because he already got my gift, which is money. So it was just a little bit flat when that happened. But it was nice to spend the time with Els because she and I just like cuddled on the couch and watched. We watched this game show called The Floor with Rob
Oh,
Lowe.
my favorite.
Yeah, I'm addicted now. We're like halfway through the first season. It was really fun.
Yeah, it's I love that it's just like pictures and you're
Yeah,
just trying to like identify
it's
them at
rapid
first.
fire. Yeah,
Yeah. And
it's fun to play
I'm,
along with.
I think season 2 came off better. They changed a couple of the rules, and there's
Okay.
more people on the floor to start,
Oh
which
wow.
made it it's 100 people instead of 80.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
81. Yeah.
and then and you're not to the finale, but the finale is eventually at the end, you have 2 categories left, and you have to pick one of them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whoever's in control gets to pick that category, and then it's over. This year, you had to play both categories, and if it was a
Oh.
tie, then you get like a third category that is picked by a
Like a
third.
randomizer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like that.
So I
Yeah, I
like the
think all the
ending better.
categories should get covered.
Yeah. So I like the
I
ending
was
this year better than year one.
okay. Well, we watched season one because she's already seen season two, Eliana, that is. But I don't know if you remember in season one, there's a category dogs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? Rapid fire. I knew all of them. It was great. It's always fun when you have a category that you're very confident in. That would be my category for sure.
So I have a game called Outsmarted, and it is
Mm-hmm.
played. It's like a board game, but you can play it online. So like we can play with my mom in Pennsylvania, we can play with Corey in
Oh,
Pittsburgh.
cool.
You just pull it up on your iPad, and then we just move your piece around the board. But it's
Mm-hmm.
categories, and one of the categories you can buy categories, so you can build the game to whatever you want. One of the categories is dogs.
Perfect.
Yeah, I am not good at it. I am not good at breeds. I am not good at any of that stuff. I just go cute, not cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I always impress people if I'm like walking with someone and we see a dog, I'll always say like, "Oh, that's a such and such." And then at some point in time we're talking to the owner, and they're like the other person will be like, "Oh, what dog is that?" And they'll say exactly the breed that I said. I'm like, "How did you know that?" I don't know. I used to study yearbooks of dogs apparently.
Well, before we
Love
get
it.
into like all this WFP stuff that came out with the Talking Elite Fitness interview, and Will, I believe, is on with Coffee Pods and Wads at 3:00 Eastern time this afternoon.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll learn more. But before we get it, did you get any cool gifts yourself, or was there one you gave that really hit home?
Yeah. So I have not gotten my mom an actual, like, significant Christmas gift in probably 30 years, right? Like, ever since I've been an adult, out of the house and everything else. Um, I would always get her, she has like a bird collection. She has a Santa Claus tree. I'll get her a little Santa figurine or a little bird picture. Nothing, crazy. This year, I am taking her to see Swan Lake New York City Ballet in New York City in February. And she is over the moon about it because girl has not been to New York in a hot minute, probably 3 decades. So yeah,
That
that
is
was my
really
favorite.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just noticed Hamilton's coming to Columbus this
Oh,
summer.
fun.
So that might be something I do with Corey. Julie says she doesn't like musicals, but then she goes and loves everyone that she sees. So I
Okay.
don't know if she'll go with us, but I think it's something that would be fun to see live for sure. My
Yeah,
gift
that was
that I was so pumped about is Julie is an interior designer by trade, by degree, but she left that field a long time ago just to pay the bills and really never got back into it. She loves art. She loves doing art. And with her going in for surgery in January, I got her a potter's wheel,
Oh,
and she loves to spin clay. Loves, loves, loves it. Always did as like growing up. And so I got her one for her rehab, like while she's having to put her leg up and whatever, she can take time to like spin some clay. and
yeah.
and I got her
I'm
like
I'm picturing I'm picturing a scene from Ghost, the two of you.
yeah, that's
I'm
yeah,
singing the song.
yeah. Um Probably not. But she's been looking to get back into like some hobbies now that Corey's kind of gone and off doing her own thing. So I got her like a medium grade potter's wheel. And if it goes well, like if she gets back into it, like we'll invest into like
You can
a really
upgrade.
good one.
Oh, I
But
love
she's
that.
already got ideas like I can put down old shower curtains in the garage and I can like do all this stuff to have a spot to do
She's
it all.
excited.
She's really excited.
That's great. I
So
love
I'm
that.
super stoked with that.
You'll have to have her watch Dax Newman or David Newman's son on TikTok.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
He
yeah.
does all that pottery stuff too. Very cool. I love it. Well, Braden got toothpaste and hand soap in his stocking because he gave me zero ideas on what to get him. So
Oh,
he got
there
the
you go.
essentials.
Good
Yeah.
hygiene.
Yeah. Oh, and Eliana's favorite gift was I got her one of those off the TikTok shop, one of those sealers, like a portable sealer that you can, like, instead of a chip clip bag. She was super excited about that.
Yeah.
She said that was her favorite present.
Corey needed an iPad for her new job, and
Mm,
we did that a couple months ago, and that was
okay.
her big Christmas gift. So we didn't have anything like big for her at this Christmas, but it was still a great day.
Sometimes the little gifts are fun too. I know my ex and I used to do this thing where we would, like, on Christmas Eve, we'd go through the as seen on TV um, aisle at the Walgreens, and we just pick up stupid shit, wrap it up,
Yeah.
and put it under the tree.
Well, Jody's with us now. We've got Jay Birch has jumped in, and Jay Birch and I had a great chat yesterday. He finished Tulsa King, and we got to bounce ideas, theories back and forth as to what season 3 will bring us with the Tulsa King, and it was great chatting with him yesterday.
Is that like Lion the Tiger King or no?
No, no. So it's another Taylor Sheridan show. It's Sylvester
Oh, okay.
Stallone as a mob boss who gets the boot from New York to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he ends up creating his own little like mob family in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there's
Hmm.
2 full seasons out on Paramount Plus, and it's really really good. Like it's no in the Taylor Sheridan like shows, I would rank
Hmm.
it probably 3rd with Lioness, and then I would put Landman number 1, Yellowstone number 2, and then Tulsa King and Lioness in the 3 spot.
Okay. I got some shows to watch.
But Landman, man, that thing is so good. Every week. It's like Taylor Sheridan practiced on all the other ones and put everything he learned into Landman, and it is so good. So good. But only my second best show of the year. Number 1 is Shrinking, which I just watched the season finale last night, and I gasped at the end of this. It was so crazy, but so crazy good. And if you've never seen that, Shrinking is on Apple Plus. It is Jason Segel and the guy who played Roy Kent in Ted Lasso wrote it. The two of them, and Roy Kent is so the guy who plays Roy Kent in Ted Lasso gets drunk and kills Jason Segel's wife, and that is the premise of the show.
Oh, okay.
As a drunk driver, and how Jason Segel kind of comes out of that. He is a therapist, and he works with Harrison Ford, who's a therapist, and another woman who is a therapist, and how they learn to, and his daughter sees Harrison Ford as a therapist. Jason Segel is totally off the rails when the show starts in season 1. And season 1 is all about him kind of overcoming that grief. And then season 2 is like, can he get back to zero, right? Like, can he get back to base level again? And it's a phenomenal show. My favorite, best show on TV in the last 10 years, in my opinion.
Is it only 2 seasons?
Correct.
Okay. And that's over.
No, there's going to be a season 3.
Oh, there is. Okay.
But it like season 2 just ended. So you've got a year before season 3 comes about.
All right, I can catch up on that.
And it's 10 episodes season 1, 12 episodes season 2.
How about based on a true story? That one, I just finished season 2 of that yesterday.
Haven't started it. I'm looking for something to
really
start.
Good.
Most other than Landman, all of my shows have pretty much ended.
This one, it's not super sophisticated. It's not like ultra drama. It's more like campy horror comedy, sort of. If that's a thing.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I know I've seen it. I thought Julie would jump into it because of the content, because she's a true crime person. But she hasn't jumped into it, so maybe I'll have to force her into it while we're off for her rehab for a little bit.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And the seasons are the episodes, it's like I think 10 and 10, and the episodes are only like 26 minutes long. You know, it's one of those half-hour ones, so it's really, you can get through it quickly.
Cool. Yeah, those don't take long at all. I had no plans for TV talk, but I have a question because I was watching something where they were talking about, do you prefer your TV in the FX Netflix style where they just dump all the episodes of the season at one time? Or do you like it like Apple Plus, Paramount, HBO, where you get one episode a week?
I have so much going on in my brain these days that if I don't watch them in succession, I will not be able to remember what happened. I mean, literally, if I go like 4 days in between an episode, even on the ones that I can binge watch, I have to go back to the last episode, at least the last like 5 minutes, to remind myself where I was. So a week in between is not happening for me. No way. Can't do it. Not smart enough.
I like to savor it. I like the one episode a week drop.
Really?
Yeah, because then it like stays in my life for a while, like, and I get to really get to know these characters. Where I am too impatient with the big drop, and I'll just binge it all, and then it's over. And then like Tulsa King, I ended, and none of my friends watched it, so I had nobody to talk to until Jay Birch finished it this week. And then like I vomited all over Jay Birch and my theories and what was going on because I had nobody to talk to about it for a couple months.
That's funny.
So yeah.
Yeah, I get the whole like being able to savor the plot line and the characters and everything else. But like I said, if I'm not completely immersed in it the whole week, I will forget what happened. Which is unfortunate.
So, Jay Birch X, do you think Taylor Sheridan is bigger than Kurt Sutter? I don't know who Kurt Sutter is.
So yes, your answer is yes.
So in my mind, I guess, yeah. Now he may tell me that Kurt Sutter did X, Y, and Z, and I'd be like, ooh, those are all great.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we run out of time,
Yeah.
Will Morad and the head of the WFP, I'm getting his name here in a second, Jackson Terry.
Okay. I believe you.
We're on Talking Elite Fitness, and it was released, I think, early this morning. And they talked about what the WFP is doing, what it is all about. and I want to save some of this for like Carolyn, because she's an actual athlete and how it impacts her. But I do want to talk about it briefly because I think there's some. What's that?
I'm a fake athlete.
True.
Carolyn's an actual athlete. Yeah. I'm an inactual.
He's a games masters athlete. There is a master's division to this, so I want to get their opinion because I think it's very. I think people have misconceptions as to what it is.
Okay.
And the first thing is, it is not a direct competitor to the CrossFit Games. Will says in this interview very plainly that they designed the season to not compete with the CrossFit Games. They have made it so that the elite athletes can do both, and it should not affect their training. Now, can one athlete maybe peak for one of them over the other and make that choice? Sure. But he said that we specifically designed it not to beat the athlete down. When we looked at qualifying events, we're trying to keep them small so that they don't affect training. When the tour events are only going to be 6 events, the finals are only 9 events. And it's not going to be like your 15 event CrossFit Games where when you're done, you're just completely beat down and can't do anything else. And not only did they avoid the games, they avoided Rogue. They avoided Wadapalooza.
Very respectful, very mindful.
So in no way is this a direct competitor, and the contracts the athletes are signing are not exclusive. And they said they went into this with the idea of not being exclusive, that just being an option. And so all the athletes can do whatever events they want across the season in addition to signing this contract.
And wasn't it, I mean, originally it was supposed to be for those athletes, like top 40 go to the games, the next 10 do this, right? Like initially it was supposed to be for that. So yeah, it's clearly not going to compete with the season necessarily, because that's how they were planning to get those folks anyway.
Yeah, I think the ideas have evolved from it being a charitable event and a place for kids to go, and they're still doing that. So this is taking the place of that. But instead of building a building in Nashville, they're partnering with people around the world for the charitable aspect of it. And then this pro season initially started as they were going to build a building in Nashville, and they're going to hold an event post semifinals for those of people who just missed the games. And it would be like in college basketball, the NIT tournament. So if you don't make the NCAA tournament, you could then go to the NIT tournament and compete for that championship. It was going to be very similar to that. But as they talked, and opportunities arose and the investments got bigger, they were able to turn this into like a full season. And I think what's even cooler is they're taking a lot of like the lessons learned from the CrossFit Game season, a lot of the things that people have been clamoring about on shows like this, and others across the space, trying to fix those issues, having a better media presence, doing a live stream that makes sense. They talk about ramping up media coverage the week before an event to get to know the athletes as people. like doing features on the athletes that are participating in the event to ramp up the excitement for that event as you get to know those people. Also, that the event itself be something that you can tune into and not know the sport and still understand who's in the lead and who's not. And maybe you don't understand everything about it, but you understand who's winning and who's losing. And that they wanted to take a different road than assuming that the niche market is all that's watching.
I like that.
They
Do
also
they have a
Go ahead.
media department necessarily, or do you think they're going to be leaning on people that they know in the space to just sort of take on
So
roles?
it sounds to me like they are going to be hiring people to do pieces
Cool.
and parts, and they are hiring someone to stream the events as they happen.
Okay.
Will talked about programming, and that the hardest part of programming is not making a cool workout for everybody. It's fitting it in the timeline of the broadcast. It is fitting it in so it makes sense to people watching. And they're in negotiations with those people doing those other aspects already. So they must have some stuff signed, but they're not announcing all of that yet.
Okay.
The other thing is it appears that all of the events will be in the US in year 1. And then they're looking to expand to Europe and Australia in year 2. And I think it's just what they could, it's a big undertaking, and it's what they could handle as a team in year 1. And they've hired 2 event organizers to help them out. The one is, I have so many notes. Jason Ainsley, is that right? He does the Monster Games. Jason Ensley.
Okay.
He's going to be in charge of North America. He does the Monster Games currently. And then Roger Nielsen is going to be the Europe individual, and he is known for doing the Norwegian Throwdown.
Okay.
So those people have been brought on. Ryan Howard is a big partner, the LRX guy.
Okay.
He is a big partner in this. They didn't really name a lot of the partners, and they didn't name any of the investors in the podcast. They also said a lot of stuff will be coming out, rolling the rest of this month and through January. Just kind of social media will be announcing more and more of things as it goes. Their events will be completely new events. They're not relying on a partner event to hold the events, and that is so that they can standardize some stuff to make the complete tour that kind of the same expectation across the board. They are in talks with the PFAA on standardized movements and safety, but they're just talks. There's no formal agreement with the PFAA at this time. And Judy Reed is correct. Ryan Husband is from a native of Columbus. He used to tour all the local gyms when he first started our LRX. So I've met Ryan. Super nice guy. But yeah.
I think at first you said Ryan Howard, and I was thinking of the Phillies.
Ryan Husband,
first baseman.
They've been stress testing point systems for the entire tour, doing fake leaderboards to see how it affects things, to make sure that they can get the points down. But basically, it's if the 20 contracted athletes will participate in the tour event, they will have a qualifier where the top 10 in that qualifier will then also compete in the pro division and earn points in that. And then 11 through 30 will compete in a challenger division at the event, and they can earn points, but it's on a lower scale than the pro division.
Okay.
So you can go to event 1 in the pro division earn X number of points, go to event 2 and fall into the challenger division and get X number of points. But together that may get you in the top 30, which then lets you go to the finals to compete for double points. And then if you're in the top 20 after the finals, you get your pro card for the following season and you become one of the 20. And the other thing, the last thing I'm just going to point out, because there was a lot of good stuff in it. And I think that it's actually not confusing, Jody, if you see it kind of out on paper.
I'm with you, Jody. I was confused.
It makes a lot of sense. I've been thinking about it a lot. I've read a lot about it. I think for me, it makes sense, and it will to others once you see it played out, because it's just like tennis. It's just like golf, done in the same way. But the last thing I'm going to say is, and I think you actually have more control over this with contracted athletes, and that is they want to have a better connection with the community. And they want to make appearances. They want to do things to bring back that pro athlete to community feel where it's very accessible. It may not happen on the day of a tour event because, they're trying to make money, but they want to do activations at other events as well. And every tour event is going to have a community event. And those community events are, in addition to the challenger division, a masters and what they're calling next gen, which is a team division. So, and it will be 14 to 16 and 17 to 19. So they are expanding the team division out a little bit further to give people more time to adjust to the pro elite division.
I like that.
Maybe just confusing while I'm deep into a kitchen design while trying to compute. I am sure.
No, I was just sitting here listening, and it sounded confusing to me too, Jody. So you're good.
Yeah, for this season, there are 2 tour events where you can earn points. You can earn points in the pro division at the highest scale. You can earn points in the challenger division at a lower scale. Your total combined points from event 1 and event 2 will be put together, and the top 30 in points go to the finals to compete for points there, which will be doubled. So the scale will double at the finals. The top 20 in overall points after the finals get a contract for the next season or a pro card.
Do your own individual points ranked against each other reset at the final so that the final is just the final, or do you come in with points and you earn points in the final towards that thing? Does that also determine the winner of the thing?
No, so you can win each event separately, and it will have its own prize money. And
that's kind of what I meant.
Winning those events.
So you're just talking about points to earn status for the next season or to get your pro card or what level you're going to be at. But each event has its own scoring system for who wins and who gets second place and all that.
Right. And then your points for the tour are based on where you finish overall in that event.
Okay.
So if you win tour event 1, you get the max number of points moving into tour event number 2.
Right. Okay. But it doesn't give you an advantage to win the second event. You're at when you get to the second event, like everybody's on. Okay. That's where I was getting confused.
Paul Kane says, I wish they would name the investors. The money is the thing to make this legit. All they're saying is they have enough money to sustain this for the foreseeable future. And they even said, and it was very subtle, that not only do they have current investors, they have investors waiting to invest that they haven't needed to tap into yet.
That's exciting.
But I don't know what that means. So I hope that I think an organization like this has the ability to be more innovative because they're new. They can try whatever they want to try and see how it works, right? You've heard all this stuff coming out from the the different podcasts and the different media types criticizing CrossFit for X, Y, and Z, right? They have the opportunity to try to come up with a solution to that.
Mm-hmm.
And if it fits, there's nothing to say that CrossFit can't go, okay, they proved it can work in that direction. Let's
Mm-hmm.
pivot. Right.
Yeah.
But
when is the first event? When and where?
they have not named. So all of that will be part of these announcements that are coming out over the next 5 weeks.
Got it. Okay.
Right now they're focused on naming all the athletes that are signed. And since I last was on Tuesday, they've signed Emma McQuaid, Victor Hoffer, and Roman Krennikov.
Cool.
In addition to what was previously announced, Travis Mayer, Alexis Raptis, Yella Hosta, Patrick Vellner, Brooke Wells, Chandler Smith, and Alex Kazan. But my thought is, if I'm an athlete, you do both. Your career is short. Make the money where you can make the money.
Yep.
And any kind of publicity, recognition, anything that's done from either organization, you get to benefit from. Just getting your name out there more.
Yeah, it's great for the athletes.
So, but again, apparently the entire 2025 season will be in North America.
Okay.
And then 26, they look to expand. Now, I think that once they expand, or if they expand, that's when it gets a little more tricky with the 2 seasons, because it's going to be the more events you put out there. The more events you put out there, the harder it's going to be to avoid another season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's only so many Saturdays and Sundays in the year.
Right. Exactly. So I'm excited for it. I think that one, I've liked Will ever since I've met him. I think that he can, I think he has a lot of good people behind him. And I think that he has put a lot of thought into this, especially with the community engagement. I just, at the very least, I hope that they show that different innovations could change the way we do things, and maybe have a consistent season. So Corey makes this statement, and I'm going to back this up. I feel like Travis happened to be there the day they signed Alexis, and they felt guilty for not asking him. So they do go into how they picked the athletes, and it was, they took the leaderboards from Rogue in the games over the past 2 years, combined them together, and came up with a top 16. Supposedly they have offered the top 16 athletes from that leaderboard, both men and women. Then they left 4 spots at large to go grab people they think will draw viewership, that will be good for the sport. Just arbitrary things that they think meet a criteria. I don't think Travis makes the top 16 because he was disqualified from Rogue in the qualifier 2 years ago. He missed the games due to injury last year. So I think he probably was not in the top 16. But maybe they think he has enough fans or support, or he's a good ambassador to bring in for this first year. I am more intrigued at how they picked Victor Hoffer, because he made the games last year and withdrew before the first event. And other than that,
yeah, he's relatively unknown.
So, and even Emma McQuaid has not been really competitive in the last few years. And I really like Emma. Like, she's, like, we've talked, I think she's a great person, but I don't know what she just has not been competitive in the sport in the last couple of years. But the only time we have to worry about this is year 1, because after this year, your top 20 will be based on the points you earn from the season prior. There's no judgment. There's no at-large bids. The 20 highest scoring athletes will be the people with the pro card in the following year. Judy Reed says maybe just trying to get more European athletes. Maybe. Kenneth says Travis is the old reliable vet to get people to watch.
I believe that.
It's almost like a lifetime achievement award as opposed to like, should they really be the people? But again, it only matters year one, and then year two will take care of itself, because either you score the points or you don't. But I'm anxious to see it play out, and it gives us more to talk about on our show. So really excited about that. I'm excited for them to announce places, because at least with CrossFit now, we know where the in-person semis are. And I can already start to plan on which ones I can get to and which ones I can't. And we met at the Mayhem Classic.
Yep.
You going back for the second Undertaker?
I would love to. I would love to go back. That would be so great.
That was the best competition I've ever witnessed in person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they were supposed to announce, they did on Monday, they talked about what theirs is going to be like, and it's using the open as a qualifier. It looks like it's going to be just a 20-person field for theirs, and they're going to try to do some community activations along with the competition during the day.
Would that have been the first time I talked to Colton Mertens? Was that the Classic? Was he there?
I don't know. I remember Jeff Adler being there.
I remember a tiny person being there, and I'm pretty sure that's when I became a Colton Mertens fan. I'll have to look that up. And Daniel Brandon, that's the first time we saw Daniel Brandon.
Yeah.
Like up close and personal.
I actually asked her to be on the show at that event, and she gave me an email to use to contact her, and then it took me like another year to get her on.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But that's where I interviewed Ben Smith, and my battery ran out after 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yep. Good stuff.
That was awesome. But yeah, it was a good time. I love the intimate setting. And it's like a boutique in-person semifinal.
Yeah. My favorite was when we judged the trail run, and I got to ride in a gator with Senior. Just me and Senior. It was fun. Yeah, he's a good dude. And I got to use the bathroom. I remember I used the bathroom in his in the gym at Senior's house, the original barn.
That's cool. I didn't get to do any of that stuff.
That was fun.
I just worked security at the finish line. I wasn't even a media member. I was security at that event, just doing in the back extra media stuff that I could get away with.
That was a great event.
So, and then your guys from the MAC are doing Syndicate Crown in Knoxville as well.
Love it.
And then your TFX folks are doing an Oklahoma City version.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if it's going to be like the same. Is it Jeremy Teal, like, and his whole team doing it? I guess
it's their team. They're just doing it in Oklahoma City. If you go to their website, they talk about how it was years in the making, that they've always wanted to be like an elite CrossFit event, because I think they're the oldest CrossFit competition.
Yeah,
TFX has been around longer than any other major competition in the space.
Yeah, and prior to the games.
Yeah, and finally they have made it to being a part of the game season. And they couldn't have held it in where they hold it outside of Austin.
They need something a little more professional.
Yeah. Corey says Athlete Control. So Athlete Control is actually a group. I was
you were security.
I was security. And I was at the finish line, making sure that the athletes that were there, or the spectators, didn't come down and mob the athletes.
Yeah, you were like a bouncer. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of experience with bouncing. But yeah, so that's the news of the day. I'll be back tomorrow for lunch with the Clydesdale. If anybody wants to join on, they will. And it'll probably be less CrossFit talk tomorrow and more of the other stuff we do on lunch with the Clydesdale. But I wanted to get that WFP stuff out. I'll probably watch the Coffee Pods and Wads today. And if there's any update from what we learned on TEF, because there were some follow-up questions that were left on the table for sure in that first interview. And I'm hoping knowing Peter, he'll follow up much more than they did. So
yeah, I'll watch both of them too in case I pop on tomorrow. I can talk about it intelligently.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. With that, guys, thank you so much for being here. And yes, Kenneth, you know how I have an affinity for a finish line, that all events at a CrossFit event should have a finish line, and the athletes
and a bouncer
and a bathroom
and a bouncer.
Oh, and a bouncer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, we will see you all tomorrow. And Kat is giving you all a yeehaw.
See you guys.
With that, bye guys.